So this weekend I got invited by a buddy of mine to go arrowhead digging at a cliff that he owns. It's private property. None of this come off of any national forest or anything like that. Private property with permission. All this stuff, as you guys can see, this is all bone. So what happened is I dug myself into a Midden pile, which is pretty much just fancy word for the Indians' trash pile. I found all this bone, all these mussel shells, and some of them are perfect. Just really, really heavily patinaed. Like I'm afraid to scrub that. I'm afraid it'll scrub the mother of pearl off. But I've heard they use these for scoops, so maybe they scooped some food up, left it in there, and it patinaed that way. I don't know. But just crazy stuff. I've never seen so much bone, and a lot of it is really big. It's like a big hip joint, maybe, of a deer. It's like part of the shoulder blade here. Just a crazy amount of bones, and I dug all this, like I said, in about 3 hours. This is, best I can tell, a really big kneecap. Probably from like an elk, maybe a woodland bison. It's really old. I mean, you can tell the patina on that thing is just ancient. I know a lot of this stuff has been tools. Probably something like that was used for a tool. This is a really interesting little tool here. So, the best I can tell, this is like the jaw off of something, a mandible. But this area here is slick to death. And it's hard to tell from this camera, but if you look really hard right there, this is serrated. Just barely. It's had little cuts across it. And this edge is the same way. It's had a cutting edge, a piece of flint drawn across it. And they were using this for something. It's really slick, really well wore. And it's super white, like it's been out in the sun a lot. You can see some of these are bone awls. There's a good double-ended bone awl. This is probably something they use for a big long scraping awl. But none of this stuff is human bones, folks. This is all animal bones and mussel shells. And if you look right here, one little snail shell. But what's interesting to me about all these bones is the way these people live. They didn't just hunt, they were surviving. They would take stone points, just like this little pine tree here, which I wish wouldn't have been broke. Found that the same day I found all this stuff. I also found this base off another little pine tree. But they would take these stone points, kill big game this size, the size of squirrels even. Butcher it, skin it, use all the parts, make tools, make weapons. And they made a life like that, and that's just what's really interesting to me, is that the bones tell a whole story. And here's another part of the story. They wasn't just hunting. As a fisherman, I know what kind of bone this is here. It's the gill bone out of a fish. So they were also fishing. And right here's some proof that they were trying to make fish hooks. So this is the knuckle bone, probably out of a deer. Maybe an elk, probably a deer. But you can see here how this one's broke, that one's broke, that one's broke, and they're all broke right here on the concave side. So the way I understand it, they would take this area out, cut into this down here, and because of the natural design of that bone, that's how they would make their fish hooks. But they used this exact same knuckle bone, because this part right here where the joint is really thick and really hard. So they would just shave that on down, make a big long J hook, and go fishing. And obviously they were catching fish, so that's exactly what they were doing there. See, this is an intact knuckle. This probably is out of an elk. It's pretty big. This is another big knuckle. I would guess buffalo or bear. That's pretty big. Maybe an elk. A lot of stuff here has been burnt. There's actually one tool here that's been burnt and sharpened. They fire hardened it and then whittled it down to a point, but unfortunately the points broke off. But I know on a lot of bone artifacts they would fire harden them first. And also found some teeth. Some of them are still in the skulls of the animals they killed. I would guess this one's a deer. Maybe that one's a beaver or a muskrat. Those I'm not sure, but those 3 teeth I'm pretty sure are deer teeth. But it's just a huge collection of bone, like I say, to find in such a short amount of time. And if you guys see anything here that I've missed, drop me a comment and let me know. Like if you see a tool or something I'm not identifying right, just let me know, because I'm all about learning about this stuff. And I'm far from knowing everything about it. But here's a piece that's just absolutely patinaed to death. That's like rock on there. That's what this is actually. It looks like a rock. That's a bone. It's just so old and so patinaed. It's just ancient. It has to be archaic from like those pine tree people. So much stuff. Now this is something, in my opinion, is either the very end of a deer's hoof, like the black part, and this is the core of it, or like the last knuckle on a bear's paw before it has the claw that grows out. Something like that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But if you look at this knuckle, I mean, it fits right into it. So it's either a deer, bear, one. I'm not sure. I'm not an osteologist, an anthropologist, or nothing like that. I'm just a dude that likes arrowheads. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, leave me a like. Hopefully y'all subscribe to my channel. And like I said, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you see anything cool or anything I've missed, drop me a comment. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.